What's the long-term plan for you? Like, is this going to be a lifelong career, or is you ride it until the wheels fall off?
No, I'm really into like the music festival world, and like I really have been passionate about like event photography and stuff, like film photography
Hmm.
particularly. So that's like where my passion is, and honestly, I've been getting a lot of bookings lately, so I think I will be able to kind of like use OnlyFans as like a crutch, but like do what I'm actually more passionate about now. I
Hmm.
used to be really passionate about OnlyFans, so.
Jasmine, do you have is there an exit strategy, or is it just, ride until the wheels fall off sort of thing for you?
Right until the wheels fall off, and then probably get into a little bit more of social commentary, those kinds of things, because there seems to be an interest for people for me to make that kind of content. So
You have a YouTube channel, right?
mm-hmm.
Do people follow
I
you
had
for
it
the
for a
social
while, but I
commentary?
just started pushing out the content.
Do people follow you for the social commentary?
Yeah, and I get a ton of subscribers for it. You have no idea how many people, because I have a pretty big Reddit profile. That's where I get most of I have like millions of followers on Reddit. And there's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, I saw you on Reddit and I went to your YouTube and I loved what you were saying, or I love how you speak, or I love it is a big turn on to a lot of people.
And then that draws them into the subscriber to the
yeah, sometimes. And some people are just like, hey, start a podcast. I'm really interested in this, whatever.
Interesting. Yeah, that's way more lucrative than law. Shorter hours too.
For sure.
If you had daughters, would you encourage them to do what you're doing right now?
If I had daughters, the only thing I'd want for them is for them to be nice people and for them to be happy and healthy. So if it was like a situation like me, yeah. If it was, if OnlyFans did for them what it's done for my life, and they had the head on the shoulders that like I feel like I do, then yeah, go for it.
The interview you did on the soft white underbelly that I listened to, you mentioned something about your dad sort of having a sit down talk with you rather than the others in your family. He basically said, look, you need to go back to school, donate all the money to charity, stop this. But you didn't really follow up after that. I was curious, what were the conversations after that?
So there was no going back.
Was drawn by him.
I had already taken the bar, so I was done with all that. I was
going back to work in law or something.
And yeah, I said no, and we didn't talk for a few months, but then eventually they call me and they're like, both my mom and my dad, we love you anyway. We don't agree with what you're doing, but you're still our daughter. And actually my dad's here making me dinner right now.
Nice. Yeah, it sounded like you had a good relationship with him. So the whole, you've got daddy issues is completely out the window, right?
Yeah, I'm very close to my dad. In fact, the only kind of daddy issue I have is that I was extremely favored and spoiled by my dad. So he almost some people are like, he's made you a narcissist, which I'm not saying that that's true, but yeah, he just, from when I was a kid, first of all, super involved. We talk for hours a day still. I'm such a daddy's girl, always have been.
I have
Do you guys both want to have a family and children?
I have a question for Jasmine really quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
do you think that you having a better relationship with your dad upped your standards for your relationships with men?
Absolutely. I do believe that 100%, because one thing about me is I've never dated an asshole. I've never dated a guy that was rude, disrespectful to me, or anyone that didn't treat me very well. And I do attribute some of that to the fact that that's how my dad always treated me. So I think there's a good basis in believing that your relationships with your parents, especially early childhood, does determine sometimes how you act. Now, it doesn't mean you can't break out of those patterns, but I do think in my case, I always had high self-esteem, partially because my dad always told me I was a shit. So,
sorry, back to the question about marriage and family.
Relationship worked out.
Go ahead,
I was curious up to this point if there hasn't been any toxicity or this and that. Why haven't those relationships?
I've only had 2 relationships. The first one, we were together for 4 years. He went to medical school. I went to law school, so we just moved apart. And then the second one was a guy I was dating in law school, and yeah, we just started bickering and stuff once COVID hit, because we were together 24/7. We're still friends, but we're just not together anymore. I mean, most relationships end. That's also statistically accurate. So most relationships end.
Yeah, I'm aware. I think a lot of times though, what we hear is that it's a very common occurrence where you hear women say, "Oh, he was toxic." The new one that we're hearing a lot of is "Oh, I was in an abusive relationship and he was emotionally abusive," and so you know, but I know you've said that you wouldn't get married. I've heard you say stuff like that. So, so that's fine. That makes sense.
So, okay. So that kind of leads to my next question. Cause I was asking, you know, did you have plans to get married, have a family, you know, children?
I was going to let Liz answer because I feel like I don't want to. I was get accused of hijacking the show, so I don't want to hijack the show.
Go ahead, Liz.
I want to one day, but I'm 23, so I'm kind of just. I'm not really looking. They say good things find you when you're not looking, so I'm like, I'm not
You're
looking.
Still really young.
I'm just
What
praying.
about you, Jasmine?
You're still extremely young, so you're not in any rush. For me, if I did have, I don't want to get married I might get married legally just for the incentives, like legal incentives. But when it comes to children, I'd want them in my mid 30s, if that.
In your mid 30s? Isn't that a bit late though?
Well, one, I don't really care if they're biological. I wouldn't mind adopting. I'm pretty rich. I can afford IVF if I need to, but I would rather wait until I'm retired, and I'm ready for kids.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you have the means, I guess you could even buy a surrogate to do all the work for you and everything, right?
If I need to.
Yeah. Have either of you given any thought to what your current career might do to affect that in the future? Do you think it will, or?
Do you want to go first, or?
I don't think it will, because I just like, if it does, I just won't be with that person, and that's my simple answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Jasmine?
And then for me, I've never liked guys that had an issue with OnlyFans. So even like 2 years ago, I didn't have any social media at all. And I was never attracted. Like even at that time, if a guy was like, I would never date someone on OnlyFans, when I would never talk to him. I'm just not into that guy. So for me, my dating prospects have remained pretty much exactly the same.
No,
Even the guys that are like,
you're right.
Sorry.
I think in North America, you're right. There's going to be there's going to be way more guys that'll just look past it than will have an issue with it. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pinned down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.